Hey everybody, hey, it's Justin here, Justin Nudie and Team Real Estate, and this is your January market update. Really quick, I want to give you some quick numbers and information, not only that you should know, of data and information that I've looked into from mortgage lenders, National Association of Realtors, and the market in general, but also what to expect and what we're seeing in the market. Now, the numbers came out for end of year. Just so you know, statistically, we were in the top 1% of Utah realtors as far as the top listing agents. So we're selling essentially and listing and selling more homes than the other 99% of agents in the market, which helps us just basically communicate that we have information that can hopefully assist you as you're looking at buying, selling, and investing in the market. This last year was an amazing year and there was a lot of changes. Something that I really wanted to go over with you, which is really an interesting change, is how we've had really kind of a market jolt really in the last 3 weeks. So I just want to explain a few information and data. So as far as the numbers, I'm going to give you information for more metropolitan, which is our Utah, Davis, and Salt Lake County, kind of this more metropolitan area. And the reason why is because when I looked at the entire state, it's just skewed a little bit. So I just think that it's relevant, it makes sense. If you want more information on kind of those more rural markets or outside of it, or Park City in general, because that's a little bit different, just reach out to us direct and I'll get you that information, because we are selling properties outside of those areas. But again, just to kind of keep it a little bit tighter. So as far as active listings, we currently have about 4,000 active listings that kind of run between that Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis County market. What's interesting about that is we're actually down 17% compared to a month ago, but compared to a year ago, we're only down about 11%. What I will tell you is it's actually pretty normal during those December months that people kind of go those last 2 weeks a little inactive, go on vacation. Frankly, just like this year, everybody got sick, where they kind of pull away from the market. In fact, our average days on market were running kind of between that 35 and 40 days last month, whereas now they're closer to about 51 days on market. Now that makes sense, because if you have about 4,100 homes on the market, last month we had just over about 1,500 homes. It kind of makes sense that, you have about this 2.5 month supply of homes. And so that's a normal market. That's a strong market. Let's talk about activity of the market and what we should maybe consider, not only today, but kind of looking forward. Our sold listings compared to a month ago are up 7%. Now, compared to last year, we're down 4%. So let me just kind of give a little bit of an idea. Terms are as valuable as price. If you work with me and you worked with our team, you've heard this before, but I want you to consider a couple facts and a couple data points. On October 19th, that is when interest rates hit 8%. In November, about 3 weeks later, that's when they went to 7%. And then about 3 weeks after that in December, that's when they went down to 7%. And then now we're kind of hovering between 6.5 and 6.75. So what is the biggest change? I will tell you. Buyers in this market were thinking interest rates were going to come down in that second and third quarter of this year. But what happened is when we had this crazy rate hike where rates went up to 8% in October, it really made, because our prices were higher, it made a lot of the properties not affordable. We saw a ton of fallout in the market. We saw a lot of cancellations. We saw people just saying, this just doesn't make sense. If I lock in this rate, I can't make this payment. And so we had a lot of fallout. And then as rates adjust to 7.5, 7, 6.75, 6.5, all of a sudden, a lot of these buyers came back and they said, now I'm ready to buy and I'm gonna lock in an interest rate. Folks, I think that if you are a buyer in this market, and this is me saying this, and I may be completely wrong, but I do believe between now and the next 60 days will likely be the absolute best opportunity for a buyer to get into a property. And there's 3 reasons, okay? Now, if you're a seller, this is actually good for you also, because most sellers want to get into a new home, or more sellers are selling because they're making a move. So I want you to consider these are what's happening, and this is why it's really good in buying and selling in the winter months, is number one, there's always less competition. For some reason, it's always been that, hey, I'm gonna wait till spring. And statistically, we have more buyers that come out in the spring. But I'm going to tell you, the best properties that I've been able to sell to the best buyers as a listing agent, and buyers and opportunities that I've purchased properties have been during these months. The reason is number one, there's less competition. Not as many people are out looking. They're not being as aggressive, especially now that interest rates are dropping. A lot of people are saying, well, are they going to come down more? Like, what's going to happen? Whereas, taking into account the next part of that, you have more serious buyers now than ever. We had that snowstorm kind of this last week and the week before. We had people in the middle of the snowstorm showing properties. Now, some sellers were like, man, should we let them show the property? Absolutely, because if they want to see it in a snowstorm, I'm telling you, they are the most motivated buyers in the market. So consider the fact that in this market, selling the winter, when people are looking, when it's cold, it's dark at 4:45, they really are trying to get into something. And the third reason this market is fantastic, and I just kind of made a note here, it's more flexibility. So if I'm a seller and I'm making, and consider this, the market you sell in is the market you buy in. So if you're looking to get your property sold and you're looking for the best opportunities, there is more inventory available now than we've ever seen for great properties in great areas where people really are looking to make concessions, assist you, give flexibility in your ability to either move in or move out. And so this has just been a really fantastic time as we've seen interest rates come down and buyers come in, but it's that sweet spot because it's kind of been a rough, or a rough 90, 120 days where we were battling these interest rates and battling these kind of not affordability. And so, with that dip in rates, and again, I'm just kind of following my notes of the things that I'm like, what am I seeing in the market? When we saw that inflation adjustments, like if you've seen gas, I was like, oh my heavens, like maybe I should do a road trip, because gas is so cheap. If you look at how those inflation numbers have changed and that affordability has changed, it's now introducing new opportunities. And it's my opinion that once interest rates start coming to a certain point, and I don't know what that sweet point is, it's possible that it's at that point we start seeing rate payments and multiple offers happening where we start having them higher than the list price, because at a certain point that payment will be so enticing to a buyer because they've been kind of on this hold where they've been kind of dealing with these wild card forces of what's going on with inflation, what's going to go on with my job, what's going to go on with these interest rates. And as we've seen kind of jobs stay strong here locally, our economy rated number one. There was a recent article that came out, again, number one economy. So doing fantastic in the job sector, that now all of a sudden we've made that adjustment. So I would just tell you, as far as a quick market update, we're seeing more activity in the market than we've seen in previous months. We're seeing more people put properties under contract. People are putting and keeping deals together, and there, I think, is really a good opportunity in the next 30, 60 days, where if you are a buyer or somebody in this market, you really have that kind of sweet point of picking from maybe the best properties on the market because people are willing to work with you and there's less competition. So if you have any questions, I'm going to try to make sure that you have this information up so you can see the data and information. As far as kind of general information, which is interesting, as we saw those interest rates drop, the price per square foot average of homes itself, they were going like this. As rates went up, we saw the average price per square foot of properties go down. And as soon as that rate went down, guess what? We saw the average price per square foot of homes go up. And that is a really interesting indicator. We haven't seen that again for the last quarter. So hoping to talk to you soon. If you need anything, reach out. As always, we are here for you, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.